Welcome back. It's 5:15. The Eaton fire in Altadena destroyed homes that were owned by black families for decades.
A lot of them settled in Altadena due to redlining, which excluded them from nearby cities like Glendale and La Cañada Flint Ridge. So they say losing everything they had is difficult.
This has been our family home. My mother worked very hard to get this home. It's my first time doing a complete walkthrough, yes. And everything's a total loss. I would love to rebuild. This is all we know. This is all my kids know, all my grandkids know, all my sisters and brothers know.
That's Mona Morgan. She is just one of the many black residents who lost homes in the fire, historical businesses, churches, landmarks, all destroyed. Breanna Hawkins is co-founder of social impact research firm Fractal Strategies. Breanna, thanks for joining us this morning. And we know you have a personal story in this. So many people impacted there, so we're sorry for your loss. How many families do you estimate may have lost their homes in this fire?
Thank you so much, Brooke and Bob, for inviting me to join. You're right, the loss has been significant. While it's still too early to be able to estimate the total dollar value of the loss, we know that of the 7,000 structures that were either destroyed or damaged, about half of them were residential structures, and 21% of residents in the Altadena community are Black and African American. So you can, and with the highest, one of the highest home ownership rates in Los Angeles County among the Black community. So you can imagine probably close to 1,000 of those structures that are destroyed or damaged belong to residents within the Black community. And when you calculate the median home value of homes in the area at about $1.3 million, we estimate that the total loss could be close to $1 billion when you think about the loss in property, businesses, cultural landmarks, and other resources in the community that have been destroyed through the fires.
Again, yes, thank you so much for getting up early and being here with us. This has been something really important to us. We've been talking about this and kind of just knowing how important this should be to everybody, this conversation. Breanna, the national, in the United States, the national black home ownership rate is 44%, just 44%. I know in Altadena, before this fire, it was 81%. That is just an amazing number, just coming from one community, comparing it to the national black home ownership rate. I think that tells a story in itself. Can you talk about the loss in, Black generational wealth from these fires, what this could mean?
Absolutely. I mean, Black Angelenos have had a long-standing history in the Altadena and Pasadena community dating back to the mid-19th century, with Robert Owens, a leader in Los Angeles who was formerly enslaved, who ultimately became a prosperous entrepreneur and established a community in Altadena where Black settlers in the community could come and be able to create a community there. The El Prieto Canyon neighborhood is one of the earliest Black communities in the area and was a sanctuary for families fleeing systemic racism and played a critical role in the region's cultural and historical narrative. And then during the 1970s, nearly 43% of Altadena's population was Black because so many families decided to locate there, as it was a rare enclave where Black families could purchase homes and escape redlining practices that excluded them from other Los Angeles neighborhoods. So when you think about the destruction of these homes, you're thinking about homes that have been in these families for multiple generations, 3 or 4 generations, like my own family's home. The matriarch of our family, who's lived there since the 1970s, their home was in Altadena, and luckily, their home was not destroyed. However, my uncle, who was a resident in that home, is a pastor of North Pasadena Church of Christ, where many of the residents lost their homes within that church community. So
you talk about the culture, the history. How do we preserve all of that, especially when so many Black families lost their homes? And you talk about there's developers that will likely come in and change that. Black families might not be able to afford to rebuild that home, which probably now costs $1 million just to rebuild that. What's being done to try and preserve all of this for generations to come?
Thanks for that question, Bob. You're right. There's a huge concern around the further displacement of Black residents within the Altadena community as a result of these fires. The cost to rebuild, the time that it's going to take to rebuild could be a huge barrier. However, there have been incredible efforts for mutual aid from community organizations to support the promise of a strong recovery and restore Altadena as an anchor in Black Los Angeles for decades or even centuries to come. There have been grassroots efforts that have been providing, resources to address the immediate needs. But I'm a part of a collective, the Wild Seed Collective, that is thinking also about the long-term strategies for supporting the retainment of residents within the community. We are offering emergency grants and grant writing assistance to both small businesses and homeowners who are seeking FEMA and SBA grants and loans to be able to access resources that can support them to stay in the community. We know legal aid organizations are providing consultation to families and businesses to support them with advocating with the insurance companies so that they're able to get the support that they need to be able to rebuild and remain in the area. There have also been other organizations within the collective, the Wild Seed Collective, like Blacklight Imaging, Morganite Writing, and my own company, Fractal Strategies, that are also working to preserve the cultural fabric of the community. Blacklight Imaging is offering free family photos for families who have lost everything in the fire, including mementos and photographs that capture memories that are still here, but the physical representation of them are no longer gone due to the fires. And we are supporting folks and connecting to additional resources throughout the community that can help them rebuild their homes and hopefully recover better than before.
Breanna, this is, one thing, I saw somebody say something online. They say LA does not play about LA because, and it's true, seeing the support, the outpouring of support just to each other, it's been amazing. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being with us. I know it's early, but your voice is important. Your story is important.
Absolutely. And we're going to continue to follow up with this. We'll check in with you later. I mean, this is going to be a long recovery, and you're going to need all the resources that you need to try to preserve the history, the Black history there. To lose all of that would be an incredible tragedy, travesty.
It's been a big concern, but we are not going to forget about the community in Altadena. That's not happening here.
Thank you, Breanna.
Thank you. Thanks. Have a good one.
All right, we'll be right back.